gets better, but it's going to be all right. Now, for those of you watching from Europe, or those of you who will watch tomorrow, I know that it's wee hours of the morning there in Europe. The Lord told me in October that civil unrest is coming to Europe. And that troubles me. Civil unrest is coming to Europe. And the enemy, the Lord also told me, these are all on my website, 365prophetic.com, that the enemy is plotting major wars in Asia. But God wants to bring revival in Asia. So there's this war in the heavens right now over Asia. There's this war in the heavens, and it's like the principalities and the powers are fighting and pressing and pushing and pulling out all the stops to start these wars. And we did see one. We saw a war in Asia, a small war break out. It was finally settled. It lasted several weeks between two nations whose names I cannot pronounce. But small nations over there who were bordering each other, and that was straightened out. That was going on. That happened right after I prophesied this. And then, but God wants to bring revival. So there's this war in the heavens. The Lord also told me, and I prophesied this right here at Awakening House of Prayer, that Russia will continue to be a problem, and that Russia will become a larger problem on the world scene with rogue operations exposed more often. I mean, this is like KGB stuff you see in the movies. They're poisoning people. You've seen this stuff in the news. And so it's going to be a bigger problem. Back in, I want to say, 2002, maybe, when was George Bush president, one of the Bushes? I think it was during which one was friends with Putin? It was it was W, right? Help me out, Doc. Was it W that was friends with Putin? And he would go on his pickup truck and go over his house. Back then, whenever that was, maybe it was 2004. And I don't know, it was back in the early 2000s. And the Lord told me, and I was not well seasoned prophetically, but I heard the Lord say, "Don't trust the bear." And I'm like, well, I ain't going to go around no bears, you know? I didn't understand really back then symbolism in the prophetic. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And the Lord showed me that the symbol for Russia was a bear. Now, at this time, it did not make any sense to the natural mind because W, or whichever Bush it was, I'm pretty sure it was W, and Putin, was it W? And Putin were friends. They were buddies. He would go out to the ranch in Texas, and I don't know what they did, but they were hanging out. They were boys. You know? And so it didn't make any sense. We had good relations with Russia for a minute, right? But Russia, make no mistake, is not our friend. And Russia and China, this is why we can't stream this over the internet. This is why this is on my private server. Russia and China have collaborated against us. And you're going to see more of these poisonings, more of these rogue operations, all of this kind of stuff. In April, and see, the stuff that God showed me throughout the year, it's going to continue into this next year. And then there's some more stuff as well. But the Lord told me in April that domestic terror will continue to rise. Homegrown extremists and radicals would begin to manifest, and not just radical Islam, but white supremacists and others. And remember that Nashville bombing? I don't know that the guy was a white supremacist. I don't know what he was, but he was some kind of messed up to let that bomb off in Nashville like that. And then did you hear about the plot to kidnap the governor in Michigan?
Yes. Yeah.
This is movie stuff. I mean, they almost got this governor in Michigan. Almost. And they exposed the plot. This is stuff you'd see on like 24. Remember that show with Kiefer Sutherland? I mean, this is like happening. This crazy, wild, I told you, this is fantastical. This is like stuff that you would see in movies. Somebody tried to kidnap a governor. Somebody here from Michigan, right? Everybody pointing, right over there. Shabbat. It's because you prayed, sir. That's why it didn't happen. Because your prayers are powerful.